Hello, good morning, one and all. This is Dr. Pranay Dubde, and today we are going to see about a concept of engineering geology. What is the engineering geology, and what is the application of this engineering geology in the technology of. This subject required a comprehensive knowledge of geology as well as understanding of engineering properties and behavior of the geological material. The practice which involve the site investigation, the practice involve the site investigation, the practice involve the site investigation and site characteristics specific to engineering project. So, whenever you go for any engineering project, whenever you go for any engineering project, what the basic need you have, what the basic need you have to require site investigation. So, whenever you build any road, any dam, all this, okay? When you build any building, dam, and all this, what happened with you? What happened that most of the time you don't go for the geotechnical investigation. Don't go for a geotechnical investigation. So what happened that time? You, your structure, whatever the structure you are creating, that will be not. That will be fall and having a specific damage to this one. So the practice involve a site investigation. The practice involve the site investigation and site characterization specific to the need of the engineering project. The geotechnical engineer play a key role. A geotechnical engineer play a key role in most civil engineering projects as most structures are built on the or in the ground. Geotechnical engineer assess the properties and behavior of soil and rock formation. So it is a collective term. It is a collective term for the more individual discipline of soil mechanics, foundation engineering, engineering geology, and hydrology. So you have a geotechnical engineering. What the geotechnical engineering do? It will be collective term for the more individual discipline of. So geotechnical investigation will do the more collective information or this one, like you have a soil mechanics, foundation engineering, engineering geology, hydrogeology, environmental science, rock mechanics. All this will be the we can say the geotechnical engineering is the backbone for this all. A geotechnical engineer may, for example, assess the material to be used for the stability of dams. So the role of geotechnical engineering is very much important. Geotechnical engineer for the society. The need of the geotechnical engineer is he can assess the material to be used for the stability of dams. He or can use for the material for the geotechnical dam and road, channel, bridges, highway, pipeline, tunnels, and airport runway. So this is a different kind of work can be done by the geotechnical engineer. So this is the why we need a geotechnical engineer for the site evaluation. So the site evaluation for geomorphology, geology, structure, strong and weak zone. So generally the geologist is assigned for this work. Generally the geologist we assign for this work, and after the geological investigation, we come to know about whether the site is suitable for the uh, any construction purpose or not. So site evaluation is a must and very important for the geological investigation. Then what is the method which is with method of determining rock property? What is the method of determining the rock property? The subsurface soil or rock properties are generally determined using one or more of the following methods. a subsurface soil or rock properties are generally determined using one or more of the following methods. First one is in situ testing during the field exploration program, laboratory testing, and back analysis based on the site performance data. So you have a three different kind of data, like you have in situ testing during the field investigation, then you have laboratory testing, then you have back analysis. So different kind of analysis we can done using this one. So what is the how the in situ testing can be evaluated? How the in situ testing can be evaluated? So deformation modules and shear strength is sometimes required for the design of foundation for major structures such as dam, bridge. However, such a testing is not performed for the structural foundation or slope associated with the typical highway application. A laboratory testing program consists of index. A laboratory testing program consists of index test to obtain a uh, general information on material consistency and performance test to measure a specific properties. Two different properties of rock. The properties of rock fall into the two broad classes: rock material properties relating to the rock itself, and rock mass properties relating to the in-place rock mass, including its discontinuity. So you have two different properties of the rock. The properties of rock fall into the two broad classes: rock material properties relating to the rock itself, and rock mass properties which is relating to the in place of rock mass. Rock material properties that are essential. Rock material properties that are essential in assessing the hydraulic erodibility of the rock include the rock type, color, particle size, and texture, hardness, and strength. So this is a three to four different kind of material we have. Then you have a seismic velocity. Weathering and secondary cavities are properties relating to the both the rock material and mass. Then we have rock mass properties, which are comprises of features generally observed and measured and documented in the field for a in-place rock. The properties of rock mass are significantly different from the properties of sample from the rock mass. The strength. What is the strength? Strength is the capacity of that rock. So the strength and mechanical behavior of rock, the strength and mechanical behavior of the rock mass are commonly dominated more by nature of its mass properties than by its material properties. So rock material properties are measurable or describable lithological properties of rock material that can be evaluated in hand specimen or tested in the laboratory. Rock material properties are related to the physical properties of the rock forming mineral and type of mineral bonding. Properties are determined from hand specimen, core section, drill cutting, outcropping, and disturbed sample using the qualitative procedure, simple classification test, or laboratory tests. Then you have punch. Then you have punch penetration index test. You have a punch penetration index test. The punch penetration index test evaluate the penetration resistance of the intact rock core. Because the punch penetration test actually penetrate the rock, it provides the capability to reveal some important rock excavability feature that other tests may fail to illustrate. One important feature which punch penetration test has been successful in the identifying is the rock toughness. Thin section petrographic analysis. The thin section petrographic analysis is used to evaluate the mineralogy of the intact rock core. In petrography, the mineral contain and the textual relationship with the rock are described in detail. Elasticity. The elasticity is the property of substance. The elasticity is the property of substance to deform with external forces and return to its original shape when the stress is removed. The deformation fully capable of restoration is called the elastic deformation. Within the range of elastic deformation, the ratio of stress is 0. So what is mean by stress and what is mean by strain? Stress is nothing but a force which is applied per unit area. Elasticity is nothing but a force applied per unit area, that is known as your elasticity. Whereas whereas the plasticity is known as the deformation of the material undergoing non-reversible changes. Plasticity describes the deformation of material undergoing non-reversible changes of the shape in response to external forces. This non-reversible deformation is called the plastic deformation. Then you have brittleness and toughness. Brittleness describes the properties of the material. Brittleness describes the property of material that fracture when the subject to the stress but has a little tendency to deform before the rupture. Brittle materials are characterized by little deformation, poor capacity to resist impact and vibration of load, high compressive strength and low tensile strength. Most of the inorganic non-metallic materials are brittle in nature. Impacted or vibrated by stress, a material is able to absorb much energy and deform greatly without rupture, which is known as the toughness, also called as impact toughness. Tough materials are characterized by great deformation. So, what is the hardness? The hardness is also one of the important property of the minerals, rocks, whatever the earth material you can see. So, hardness refers to a property of material to resist the pressing in the scratch of the sharp object. The material of different kind of hardness need various testing methods. The hardness of steel, wood, and concrete is tested by pressing in method. The hardness is a subjective description of the resistance of an earth material to permanent deformation, particularly by indentation or abrasion. Rock hardness is not the same as mineral hardness. The Mohs scale is qualitative scale for the set of empirical tests used to differentiate mineral in the hand specimen by scratching. The scale has no useful application. The scale has no useful application in describing most rock material for the engineering purposes. Because most rock types are aggregate of more than one mineral, hardness is simply a qualitative expression. Hardness is simply a qualitative expression of earth material strength. The hardness categories form a scale of ranges in strength value obtained from the laboratory test for the strength. Hardness category. It is very soft rock or hard rock, soil-like material, moderately soft rock, moderately hard rock, very hard rock, extremely hard rock. So this is a different category we have. We have a scale of rock hardness. Then we have a scale of rock hardness. All rocks weaker than 5 on the scale of strength is known as the soft rock. The rock which is the rock which having or the rock which is having softer than the 5 on the scale of strength is known as the soft rock. Whereas the moderately hard, more than slightly friable and unfringible rock consisting mainly of soft rock. So hard rock are the rocks. Hard rock are the rock which having a 4-5-6 hardness. Rock stronger than 7 on a scale is known as the very hard. Then you have a different kind of hardness, like then you have a different kind of hardness. What is that hardness? So this hardness is nothing but a to have a 6 to 7. 6 to 7 is a hardness which is known as the hard rock. Which is known as the hard rock. Very hard rock more than 7. Very hard rock is more than 7 is known as the hard rock. Then you have a properties of the rock. A principal rock type, mineralogy, primary porosity, hardness. So this is a different type of elements, different type of mass properties of the rock. So essential aspects are include geological description, engineering classification, shear strength parameter, bearing capacity parameter, and the deformation and settlement parameter. So this is a different essential class. Then you have a different rock type. Uh, Rock type is a simplified geological classification of rock based on the generic category, structure, and composition and grain size. Rock type can be indicate a mineralogical and textual characteristic. Uh, Rock type can indicate the mineralogical and textural characteristic, which may provide insight into the physical and chemical interaction between the grains. Then using the standard field identification procedure, all identified rock unit and the record of the this type are to be tested. Using the standard field identification procedure, all identified rock unit and record of the rock are to be classified. The properties of rock include the rock texture, rock stability, permeability of the rock. What is mean by permeability? It may be in question in your mind. What is mean by permeability? So you have a porosity. What is mean by porosity first? I will explain with the help of whiteboard. This is a grains. This is a grains. When you form any rock, this is how your grains look like. This is the grain, how the grains look like. This part, this pore space is known as the porosity. This pore space is known as the porosity. So you have here you have porosity, here you have also porosity. When these pores get connected to each other, that is known as the permeability. That is known as the permeability. So this is difference between porosity and permeability. One of the important property for the your engineering purpose. So this is how your permeability is defined. Then you have a particle size, means how the particle size is there. Intact rock versus rock mass. What is the intact rock and what is the rock mass? So the in situ rock or a rock mass is comprises of intact block of rock separated by the discontinuities such as joints, bedding planes, fold, shear zone, and faults. These rocks block may be vary from fresh and unaltered rock to badly decomposed and disintegrated rocks. Under applied stress, the rock mass behavior is generally governed by the interaction of the intact rock blocks with the discontinuity. Then you have a degree of weathering. No evidences of any chemical or mechanical alteration. So in the degree of weathering, you don't have any evidences. Don't have any evidences of any chemical or mechanical alteration. That is your unweathered part. Slightly weather is a slight dislocation, discoloration on the surface, slight alteration along the discontinuity less than the 10% of the rock volume altered. Then you have moderately weathered rock. You have moderately weathered one. You have a highly weathered rock. So if the entire mass discolored, alteration and nearly all the rocks with some pockets of the slightly weathered rock noticeable. Some minerals leach out. Rock reduced to the soil with the relieved rock texture generally molded and crumbled by the hand. Lithology, Marco description of mineral component. Use a standard adhesive such as shaly, sandy, silty, and calcareous. Note include concretion, nodules, etc. You have a thickness or bedding. You have a thickness of bedding. When you have a massive 3 feet thick of the or greater, when you have a massive rock type a bedding, then you have a thin bedded, then you have a thin bedded, thick bedded, medium bedded. So this is a different kind of beddings you have. Different kind of beddings you have. So 3 feet of bedding is a greater. Thick bedded is a 1 to 3 feet thick. Beds from 4 inch to 1 feet thick. Thin bedded is 4 inch thick. So this is a different size for the different beds we have. You have a different sizes for beds you have. So degree of fracturing. Degree of fracturing. So when you have unfractured fracture spacing 6 feet or more, that is your unfractured. Okay, that is known as your unfractured one. When you have a slightly fractured, when we call the slightly fractured, then you have a fracture spacing 2 to 6 feet. When you have fracture spacing 2 to 6 feet, then you have moderately fractured, that spacing is 8 inch to 2 feet. 8 inch to 2 feet. And you have highly fractured fracture spacing 2 inch to 8 inch. Then you have intensely fractured spacing 2 inch or less. Then you have deep of the bed or fracture. You have deep of the bed or fracture. So you have a flat deep, that is 0 to 20 degree. Then you have a 20 to 45 degree deeping bed. Then you have a steeply deeping, that is 45 to 90 degree. Then you have a discontinuities. A joint, then you have a discontinuity, a joint, a type of joint if it can be readily determined, that is a body, cleavage, foliation, cystosity, and extension. So this is a different kind of joints we have. Degree of joints, wall weathering, unweathered, not visible, sign are noted on a weathering. Joint wall rock is fresh, crystal bright. Slightly weathered joints, discontinuity are stained or discolored and may contain a thin coating of altered material. Then you have a discoloration. Discoloration may extend. Into the rock from the discontinuity surfaces to the distance of up to 20% of the discontinuity spacing. Slight dislocation extend from the discontinuity plane for greater than 20% of the discontinuity spacing. Discontinuity may contain the filling of unaltered material and partial opening of the grain boundaries. When you have then you have a highly weathered joints. The highly weathered joints are same as them. Item. You have a fault and shear zone. What is the fault? Displacement. Fault is a displacement of rock block. Fault is a displacement of rock along each other. A displacement of rock along each other known as the your fault is known as the displacement of two rock blocks. Then you have a shear strength. The shear strength that can be developed. To resist the sliding. The shear strength that can be developed to resist sliding in rock foundation or a rock slope is generally controlled by the natural planes of discontinuity rather than the intact rock strength. Failure of the foundation or slope can occur through the intact rock along the discontinuity or through the filling material contained between the discontinuity. What is the failure criteria? A definition of failure is the term failure as applied to a shear strength may be describe the what? Describe the term load, stress, deformation. So this is a different kind of uh, failure criteria we have. Then you have direct laboratory shear strength. Strength along the planes of weaknesses, discontinuity or rock concrete contact not recommended for the intact rock. So you have a strength along the planes of weakness, discontinuity or rock concretes. Then you have a deformation and settlement. The deformation response of a rock mass is important in seismic analysis of dams and other large structures, as well as the static design of the gravity and arc dam tunnels at certain military projects. Then you have moduli definition. The elastic moduli is related to the change in the applied stresses to the change in the resulting strength. Mathematically, it is expressed as the slope of the given strain response to the this one. Then you have categories of rock mass deformation. Then you have categories of rock mass deformation. Deformation may lead to settlement or hue of structure founded or in a rock may be divided into two general categories: time dependent deformation and time independent deformation. The three groups include the consolidation, swelling, and creep. Then you have bearing capacity. The ultimate allowable bearing stress value for foundation on rock. Bearing capacity failure of a structure founded on rock masses are depending upon the joint spacing with the respect to foundation width, joint orientation, joint condition, and rock type. Then you have a sliding stability. Example of applicable structure include a gravity dam, coffer dam, foot wall, and rock wall and retaining structure. The foundation should be stable with respect to the sliding when for any potential slip surfaces. Then you have cut slope stability. For accessing the sliding stability for assessing the sliding stability of a slope formed by the excavation in a rock or a natural rock slopes altered by the excavation activities. Foundation excavation, construction, project access road, and development of dam, abundant spillway, and tunnel. The type of failure is primarily controlled by the orientation and spacing of discontinuity within the rock mass as well as the orientation of the excavation and the angle of inclination to the slope. This may be encountered in rock foundation that causes the construction or operation problem. This may encountered in rock foundation that cause construction or operation problem. These conditions are likely to be encountered only within a certain region and within a certain rock type, but geotechnical professionals should be aware of the potential problem and method of treatment. Cast, pseudocast, and mines which produce a substantial underground cavities, swelling and squeezing rock, much of which may be described as a rock but treating as a soil. Gradational soil rock contact, rock weathering, saprolites and residual soil which may determine the selection and excavation of suitable bearing elevation difficult. Then you have transmissivity, storativity, soluble rock, aquiver type, and this all. So this is different kind of things which we. Uh, then you have a geophysical testing. Geophysical testing. Geophysical testing is often used as a part of the initial site exploration phase of a project and to provide a supplementary information collected by the widely spaced observation. So this is a different kind of a geotechnical analysis we will going to uh, do before the any construction and all. So you have to study the different geotechnical properties first. So these all are the geotechnical properties which we should know. What is that property? Rock mass. Then you have a punch penetration index. thin section, petrographic analysis, elasticity, elastic deformation. These all are the different kind of properties we have. Then you have plasticity, brittleness and toughness, okay, hardness category. So these all are the different kind of categories we have. This is all are the different categories we have. Then you have a rock mass properties. Okay, then you have a rock mass properties. A different kind of rock mass properties, like you have uh, principal rock type, mineralogy. Okay, primary porosity. What is the primary porosity? A primary porosity are the porosity during the uh, which is formed during the formation of rock. Okay, it is formed during the formation of the rock. So different kind of rocks, we have a different kind of porosity and different kind of. So primary and secondary porosity is just a difference is that a primary porosity is a porosity means a pore space which is formed during the formation of rock, whereas secondary porosity is the rock or is the porosity which is formed after the formation of the rock. After the formation of the rock, so that is known as the secondary porosity. Then you have a hardness and unconfined compressive strength categories unit wise. Hardness and unconfined compressive strength categories unit weight. Some of are the essential aspect. Some are the essential aspect which include the geological description, engineering classification, shear strength parameter, bearing capacity of the parameter, and deformation and settlement parameter. We have then rock type, different type of rock we have, the simplified geological classification of rock based on the genetic category, structure, composition, and grain size. Rock type can indicate the mineralogical and textual characteristics which may provide insight into the physical and chemical interaction between the grain. Using the standard field identification, procedure, all identified rock units and record the rock type are to be classified. The properties of rock include the rock texture, rock stability, permeability of rock, mineralogical composition of the rock, and rock resistance to the weathering. So this is a degree of weathering, how the weathering is being done. If there is unweathered means there is no evidences of any chemical or mechanical alteration. There is known as unweathered. Slightly weathered, slightly dislocate on the surface and having slightly alteration. Moderate, some moderation. Highly means entire mass is getting decomposed, rock reduced to the soil. So when the rock is get decomposed, it produces the soil. So when you see the soil, the rock it get or totally get converted to the soil. So decomposition is there. So this is a different kind of texture. This one all we have. Then we have a thicknesses of bedding. Then you have a thicknesses of bedding. We have a massive 3 feet thick or greater. We have a massive 3 feet thick or greater. Then you have thick bedded. Then you have thick bedded. Beds from 1 to 3 feet thick. Medium bedded. Beds from 4 to 1 feet thick and 4 inch thick. So this is a different kind of degree of fracturing and all. Now the degree of fracturing and all. Then you have a discontinuities, joints. Joints is nothing but a fracture along this one. When you have a fracture along this one, as the joints. So this is this is all this is all from the degree of or joints and this one. from the what we can say, the this is a different kind of investigation which need to carry out before the any engineering construction. This is what the different kind of engineering investigation you need to carry. You need to carry before the any before going into the field and before going into the any. So this is all from the today's lecture. Hope you all understand the concept, and hope you know that whatever the different kind of analysis you have to carry out, different kind of analysis you have to carry out before the before the geological investigation in any field, any site, whether it is a dam, whether it is a this one, whether it is a bridge and all. So you have 10 question of LMS in LMS. Go and this one. Thank you for listening this one. Thank you all.